Imagine you're enjoying a sunny day in the park. Suddenly, you look up and see a giant Nike shoe, the size of Mount Everest, hurtling towards Earth. It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's a colossal sneaker. This might sound like the plot of a crazy sci-fi movie, but let's explore what would happen if such an event became reality. The first thing to understand is just how bizarre and unexpected this scenario is. Shoes are for feet, not for crashing into planets. But let's suspend our disbelief and dive into the science and consequences of this hypothetical event. How would the world react? What would happen to our environment and our lives? A giant Nike shoe falling from the sky would definitely make headlines. People worldwide would be glued to their screens, watching the countdown to impact. Scientists and government officials would be scrambling to understand the potential damage. But first, let's think about just how big this shoe is. The sight of this gargantuan sneaker approaching Earth would be startling, to say the least. The sheer scale would be unlike anything humanity has ever witnessed. To comprehend the sheer size of this shoe, imagine Mount Everest. Standing at a staggering 29,029 feet, Everest is the tallest mountain on Earth. Now, picture that entire mountain molded into the form of a Nike shoe. It's almost impossible to fathom, but in our scenario, this is the scale we're dealing with. The weight of such a shoe would also be astronomical. If we assume it's made of typical shoe materials, but scaled up, it could weigh around 500 billion tons. That's heavier than all the buildings in New York City combined. This massive weight would play a crucial role in the impact's devastating effects. But why a Nike shoe, you might wonder? Well, why not? Nike shoes are iconic, known for their durability and style. In this whimsical scenario, it adds an extra layer of intrigue and humor. Plus, the swoosh logo would be visible from space, making this hypothetical event even more spectacular. Understanding the size and weight of this shoe helps us appreciate the magnitude of the impact. It's a fun thought experiment, but it also sets the stage for some serious scientific analysis. Now let's talk about the physics. When a giant object falls from space, gravity plays a crucial role. The shoe would accelerate, reaching incredible speeds. It would likely hit Earth at around 25,000 miles per hour. The kinetic energy upon impact would be enormous. With a mass of 500 billion tons, the energy release is comparable to millions of nuclear bombs, enough to cause catastrophic damage. As it enters the atmosphere, it would create a brilliant fireball. The heat generated would be intense, potentially vaporizing parts of the shoe. The impact would create a massive crater, several miles wide and deep. The moment the giant Nike shoe hits Earth, it would unleash an explosion of unimaginable proportions. The energy released would be thousands of times greater than the largest nuclear bomb ever detonated. The impact site would be obliterated, leaving behind a massive crater. The shockwave from the impact would travel through the ground, causing massive earthquakes. These quakes could flatten cities, topple buildings, and cause widespread devastation. The ground would shake violently, and the sound of the impact would be deafening, heard thousands of miles away. Next, there would be a release of thermal energy. The heat from the impact would ignite fires over a vast area, possibly setting entire forests ablaze. The sky would darken with smoke and debris, blocking out sunlight and causing temperatures to drop. This phenomenon, known as an impact winter, could last for months or even years. Additionally, the impact could trigger tsunamis if it occurs near a body of water. These giant waves would travel across oceans, causing further destruction along coastlines. The combined effects of shockwaves, fires, and tsunamis would be devastating on a global scale. Section 5. Waves and quakes. Environmental consequences. The environmental consequences of the giant Nike shoe impact would be severe and far-reaching. The shock waves would cause massive earthquakes, disrupting the Earth's crust. These quakes would be felt worldwide, causing landslides, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions. The tsunamis generated by the impact would be enormous, with waves potentially hundreds of feet high. Coastal cities and towns would be inundated, leading to widespread flooding and destruction. The force of the water would sweep away buildings, vehicles, and anything else in its path. The fires ignited by the impact would spread rapidly, consuming vast areas of forest and grassland. The smoke and ash from these fires would fill the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and causing a drop in global temperatures. This cooling effect could lead to crop failures and food shortages, adding to the disaster's toll. The long-term environmental impacts could include changes to the climate, with potential shifts in weather patterns and ecosystems. The Earth's recovery from such a cataclysmic event would be slow, taking decades or even centuries to return to normal. Section 6. Surviving the shoe. Human strategies. Survival would be a top priority for humanity. Governments and scientists would need to act quickly. Evacuation of areas near the impact site would be essential. Shelters would provide safe havens from shockwaves and tsunamis. International cooperation would be crucial. Countries would need to work together to provide aid. Long-term survival would involve adapting to new environmental conditions. Section 7. Long-term effects. A changed Earth. The long-term effects of a giant Nike shoe hitting Earth would be profound and lasting. The immediate aftermath would see a dramatic shift in the planet's climate and environment. The impact winter caused by debris would lead to significant cooling, affecting weather and ecosystems. Agriculture would face severe challenges due to lack of sunlight and colder temperatures. Innovations like indoor farming and genetically modified crops would become crucial. Earth's biodiversity would be affected, with many species struggling to adapt. Humanity would need to rebuild and adapt to the new reality.